Hello, my name is Ryan J. Heathcock. I'm the owner and founder of Once Upon a Time. It is YouTube Tuesday, and today we are continuing with our Black History Month theme for 2018, Living Legacies. We are on location today at the Richmond Public Library, where we are talking to native son, Dr. Rudolph Jackson. Dr. Jackson has a career spanning more than 50 years in medical research. He was the first African-American doctor hired by St. Jude's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, where he headed and developed the Sickle Cell Research Program. We sat at length and spoke about his life and career, and we are going to share a short portion of our conversation with you today in the hopes that you are both inspired and encouraged to know that there are individuals in your community that you may never even think of that are doing great works to help you have a better quality of life. Thank you again for tuning in to this edition of YouTube Tuesday, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy this video and continue to support this channel. Thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. You finished second in your class at Armstrong. There was no doubt at this point college was on the horizon.
College was on the horizon. It was going to be either Virginia Union, Virginia State, or Hampton, or Howard. I mean, those are the ones I was familiar with.
And you chose?
Morehouse. And it's interesting. I chose Morehouse without knowing, never ever having been in Atlanta or never seeing Morehouse. I would go to New York City from time to time to see people who were quote, kin to us. On one occasion, one of my family members lived on 138th Street. Went to Abyssinia, and who would I meet? We lived a block and a half, 2 blocks away from Abyssinia. Who would I meet but Dr. Benjamin Mays? Oh. And he made an impression upon me that still lives. And he was just something else. And I think this was around October, November 1952. All I could talk about afterwards was I saw Dr. Mays. I heard about Morehouse. Never heard about Morehouse prior to that time. And it just was one of those things that I want to see Morehouse. And it was through Mays.
And so what was the spark that led you down the path of
medicine? Actually, it was very easy. Right around, I lived at 31st and Q Street in Churchill. At 31st and P Street lived Dr. Dillon. He was one of 2, maybe 3 black physicians in Churchill. But he was my mother's doctor. And when he started coming by to see my mother, I followed him. And I got to know him. He was only a block and a half away from where I lived. And Mrs. Dillard was very nice and taught at Virginia Union. Both are obviously dead now. But I got to know a little bit about medicine just through him. Early on, I hope I mentioned the fact that I wanted to do something that would allow me to work primarily with patients, and in this case, pediatric patients with sickle cell disease, pediatrics, and certainly pediatric sickle cell disease, as well as leukemias and other solid tumors and the like in children. And that was my feeling and want and desire from Meharry, prior to Meharry. Everything I could get my hands on, I tried to get involved in, if it was sickle cell or if it involved black kids. When I trained at Naval Hospital, Philadelphia, when I trained at the other 2 places in Philadelphia, it was the same thing. I kind of buried myself. Started a program at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, a transfusion program for sicklers. And that worked very well. There were a few people who were not that happy that we had the opportunity to be able to do that, but my chief at that time was a the man who got me to Philadelphia anyway, and paid me some money to come. I wish we could spend some time talking about a program that started at St. Jude, and we may all be familiar with it, but we call that program in St. Jude MAP South, Memphis Area Project South. It was a project set up to address people in the community in the MAP South area, south part of Memphis area. And it allowed us to bring kids in from out there, particularly in the southern part of the city of Memphis, and take care of their problems. And we got into a big nutritional program, and we could sit there and write out a prescription up to age 4 for formula or for baby food, or many times what the mother needed during her pregnancy up to age 4 or 5. Tom Z was heading up that program. Z came out of South America. By the way, all of us came from somewhere. I don't know where how we all ended up. But that program later became the WIC program. That came out of St. Jude, Tom Z's shop, and all of us had to work everywhere. So we all worked in all of these places and knew all of the people in the community. The WIC program came out of that. I ended up heading up all of the sickle cell centers in the country, this country. And it allowed me to fund, F-U-N-D, all of these centers. When I went into NIH, we had $5 million in our budget. $5 million wasn't going to be enough to clean the floors up that we were working on. We were able to increase that, and when I ended up, oh God knows, I had more than $25 million in my budget. But it always had to come out of somebody else's budget to be placed in my, and you don't make friends that way either. I also was interested in leukemia and solid tumor in children. This is what allowed me to do sickle cell, solid tumor, and everything else, sickle cell, solid tumor, and leukemia in children at one place, under one roof, with everybody working together. And
very strategic.
Yes, St. Jude was something else, and I would suggest that if anybody has an opportunity to go, please go.